wonderful viewers, wonderful subscribers. This is Active TV again for another fast and a quick update. Mbadi ulu mbalbe konto na mbalbe jiala kotake Active TV. The Gambia Football Federation held a press briefing on the Gambia versus Gabon match at Football House in Kanifing, as there are a lot of brouhaha on the issue. Mbadi olu Gambia Football Federation football bumbato ekafudame ko Football House in Kanifing sate kono itele press briefing ke ka journalist ol kumandi adi media house ol kadiamu kola miyalon ko wala be dending Gambia ning Gabon na majola akeda majoti miyalon ko aduta kendeke jannabe sila andum fanang akola fanang kuma kanol be siaring wewe siaring chocho be siaring akoto kendeke kababajo di president of Gambia Football Federation atala findita nang anala mol kadiamu ka Gambia to senandi nyinko kono. The executive committee members of Gambia Football Federation talks to media houses in the Gambia to clear the name and the image of the Gambia, our motherland, because individuals and some media houses are trying to tarnish the name of the Gambia after the incident that has happened at the Banjul International Airport in the Gambia. Mbadingolu Kababajo, Atalam, president of Gambia Football Federation, afindita analamol ye press briefing ke walam ye diamo ke miyalon ko media household bije puru nuwal pareta ise ko nyim findindi isa janjandi Gambia tonkon nano beto anin dunia tonkon nano beto kaitandi ko Gambia lodla wala nyindulati ko miyalon ko abedending Gambia ning Gabon majola awewe be siaring ko mi ngafale nyamen a chocho be siaring mo kunkino bi jam yalon ko e be Gambia to ku yakan aning media household do bi jam yalon ko dia international media house Gambia banko e bantala e be diam kan ka kumol safe mi yalon ko Gambia banko kan kababajo atanala mol ye kol je comme ça kol lom yalon ko e manke toñade wata kababajo fanan findita anala mol ka findi ka Gambia to senandi Lamin Kababajo, the president of the Gambia Football Federation, sees this opportunity to state the position of the Gambia Football Federation on this matter after Gabon and Arsenal forward Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang shared his feeling on the matter on social media. Mbadingolo Kababajo afindida nanka Gambia to senandi nyinkuo kono bring Arsenal la nyaton konying ay la football nyaton konying munka eka mumple ila 9 aning Gabon na nyaton konying eka famiyako Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang birata social media ay saferol safe kunyindo kala ni ku aytandi ko mu yalon ko walaketela Banjul International Airport Gambia banko kan Gambia Football Federation fanan findita ka kunyin ka kodol senandi kunyin kono ka aytandi ko Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang ay ko mol fo to nya hana jaje ka killing atije. More on that story will come in our next video. Mbadi ngolo Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang ade kuma kangal mulfo anim fanang Gabonese aning international media le kumol mulfo aning Arsenal timo fan kumo mulfo. I'll stay connected with Active TV. Wobina na video dol to mi yalonko abulala nyim video noma Gambia ning Gabon na majola kodo. Just want to focus on the Gambian side of the story. Science and the laughter na diamo na bedena den Gambia la Carola okola na video dol kono mbina Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang atafana nala banko mol e kuma mumfa ko nyindo mbo fana findin lalele. Mr. Kababajo said it's very unfair for the Gabonese to treat us in that manner. He says it's in WHO's rules, every country's rules, and also in the CAF rules that every player should be tested 48 hours before the match to know their COVID-19 status. The president said our Gambian players has complied with these rules in Gabon, but he is very disappointed that the Gabonese did not play fair play to the Gambians in the Gambia. Kababajo ako nyimbe bankol be la lua kono abe timol bankol la timol la lual kono abe CAF la lual kono abe WHO fanana lua kono kaitandi ko momoranding football alamiti janni be pilela montro wattan nani aninsai inyanda ka COVID-19 coronavirus test inyanda ka kala purmol yalon fa coronavirus bela fatila bar Kababajo ko gambenol yo kuwa kele gambenol sonta wala Gabon banko kan ako bari akera ni kuyati Gambia Gabon treat nyameng Gabon man Gambia trito nyama Gambia banko kan maningol ko chokoro kadi ya wolo fanga da kono Lamin Kababa jo mbala video play la Gambia Football Federation ye press briefing mun soto football house in Kanifing Lamin Kababa jo me video nyim play la albe sala diamol moy atal mi yalon ko albe video jibe kan you can comment below also comment no la yalla miro fo atale mun mira nyin koto Gambia ba bololo kambang fo Gambia ta bolo kan woto fom boyta Gabon kane fom mam boy kan comment section of the also comment no la miro fo. This is all I have for you today. The Gabonese side of the story will be coming in our next video. Active TV update.
We once again thank you very much for honoring our invitation at a very short notice. This shows the importance you attach to the subject matter. The purpose of this press conference is to clarify our position on the avoidable incident between the Gabonese national team delegation and the public health officials at the Banjul International Airport on the eve of our African Cup of Nations match against Gabon last Monday. A lot has been said on the matter that has generated massive international media attention, who only relied, or most of whom relied upon the version as stated by the star football player Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, shared with his followers on social media. It is against this backdrop that we call this press conference to say the facts as they were, including the unfair treatment meted out on our delegation during the first leg in Gabon. Otherwise, we would have waited for the ongoing investigation to take its course to avoid, to avoid interfering in it. As we are all aware, CAF has referred the matter to this disciplinary committee. During this pandemic, countries have their own standard practice when someone enters in a country. On top of that, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has adopted its own requirements with regard to COVID-19 tests in line with FIFA standards and protocols. Thus, the CAF rule states unequivocally that any individual who is departing from a country or area or transiting through a country or area with current COVID-19 community transmission status The new rules also subject team delegations, match officials, and match appointees to another mandatory PCR test that should be conducted no earlier than 48 hours before the match, and participants' access to the stadium, which result CAF said must be made available 2 hours before the departure to the stadium. It is a result of these rules that every member of our delegation flew into Gabon on time and with negative COVID-19 test result. But even with that, they were subjected to 2 separate tests both at the airport and at the hotel. Because of the respect that we have for the laws of their country, we complied without hesitation and hope that they would act in the spirit of fair play. It was at this second testing at the hotel that one of our key players, Suleiman Mar, returned positive, despite entering with a negative result conducted in Belgium prior to his travel. He did a third test last Saturday, which purportedly came out positive. He is still stranded in a hotel in Libreville. I want to also state that the Gambia Football Federation had on numerous occasions attempted to ensure the cooperation of its governance partners to communicate their arrival information to make sure all necessary arrangements were made for their smooth transportation from the airport and throughout their stay in the country. But all efforts proved futile. I also want to be on record to inform you that neither their advanced party team nor their ambassador or their ministers' arrival details were communicated to us. Those, we are not aware of them arriving into the country. All we know that they were on the main list, but when they were arriving, we never knew. The ambassador came into the country without notice of the GFF. The minister came into the country without notice to the GFF. Thus, he couldn't be accorded the necessary protocol. And worst of all, the advanced party who came into the country to prepare the grounds for their march came in, they never called at the GFF, they never contacted the GFF. They did everything on their own without consulting us, which is unprecedented in football. Thus, we provided, as per the regulations, we should provide them with a bus and a second vehicle for the officials. But our vehicles were left abandoned because they went and made their own arrangements without even consulting us. So I think this is very important. the whole minister entered into the country without the notice, formal notice of the Federation. I'm not sure of even of the government, because Gambian protocol and hospitality, forces us to ensure that we provide the necessary protocol. And I think that's really is a breach of our diplomatic protocol. And also, the first date they announced was arrival on the 14th. That's the early hours, late night on the 13th. That was the day the match was played on the 12th. They announced that we are arriving here after the match. They are coming. In fact, they will be coming together, almost following with our team to arrive here on the 13th. It's on record. They changed. They communicated that we are coming on the 14th. They changed. They said they are coming on the 15th at 2000 hours, 8 p.m. Until 09:35, we never had any communication with them, from them. We instructed the General Secretary to write to CAF to inform them of our frustrations for the governor's delegation not communicating the arrival time, because we are trying to avoid the possibility of any lapse on our side that we arrive, we are not received here and there. But notwithstanding, the GFF protocol officer was sent to the airport, and the only information we could get were from the control tower. We are giving 10 o'clock and later midnight. And my information is that they arrived 5 minutes to 12. 23:55, as opposed to the claim by my colleague who said they arrived at 11:45. But the records at the control tower will not lie. They arrived 5 minutes to midnight, surprising us. I think this is very important. And as per the information we received from the health officers at the airport, when they arrived, like any other passenger, you must provide or produce to the health official a certificate to show that you are COVID-19 negative, which should not be earlier than 72 hours for any traveler, which they refused to hand over there. I understand they were just holding this. These are our players, and the other folder, these are for the officers. That's an insult to our sovereignty, an insult to our laws, because it never happened. Our first batch that arrived in Libreville were tested at the airport, and they insisted they were going to test the whole delegation there. If they should go home and make arrangements with their public health officials to make sure that the second batch that came will be tested at the hotel, that's their own prerogative. We wish we had that opportunity from them, to give us that opportunity also to have that plan. When we got frustrated and not knowing when they will arrive, and in order to meet the deadline for the provision of the test results before the March, we know our capacity, a third world country like ours, we are not very sophisticated. We know it's going to take several hours before the samples will be tested and the results out. We don't want to be found wanting for not providing the test results of the players and officials as stipulated before the March, as stipulated by regulation. Hence, the decision of the public health officials to mobilize a team for a fast-track purpose to ensure that when they arrive at the airport, the specimens will be taken and the process overnight so that the results will be available in time for the match. That's the reason. That's the main reason. When they arrive, adding insult to injury was when they refused to hand over their test results, which they claimed were negative, and that brought us suspicion. And then we said, no, if you cannot provide us with your test result, like any other passenger, then you cannot allow it going. Then, in fact, you have to do the test. I don't want to talk for the public's health, but we are all aware of the protocols. Even where you provide a test result from, where would I say, from WHO, if the health officer on the ground is not certified, he can force you to do another test. He can send you into quarantine to do it. This is what our law said. So it's not a question of X has passed through the airport, he was not tested, and Y also passed. That's not my business. That's entirely in the purview of the health officials. A little after 1 a.m., the ambassador called me, and then was saying that we are here for several hours and the people wouldn't let us go. I said, what happened? They said about the test. And talk to your colleague. He passed the phone to my colleague, the president of the Governors Football Federation. He repeated the same thing. I said, okay, give me time, let me find out, because I didn't know what was happening. Let me find out, I don't know what's happening. Then this time I called the GS and I started consulting. I was told that they arrived, they would want to surrender their test results, and they would also want to do the test at the airport. Then before I called back, he called again. I told him, my colleague, my brother, because we are very good friends. Myself and Terry, and we are very good friends. If you want to compare it, we are in the same VU in CAF, I will say that because we hang out together. He's a good friend of mine, definitely I can say that. He is a good friend of mine. I told my brother, I found out, but I understand it's a health issue. And these are things that are beyond us. Can you comply? He said, okay, we'll do it, but this is Africa, and we will see. This is Africa, c'est l'Afrique, on va voir. Mais on va faire le test, mais on va voir. It's what he told me. I said, okay, merci. Désolé pour l'inconvénient, mais il faut le faire. Then, I thought it's close. I haven't back to bed. After a while, I think I called you or he called me. Yes, whoever. I didn't sleep that night. He called me and said, yes, there's still a stalemate. I said, what happened? I was going to tell you this, but already things are done. He said, no, they are still refusing. They said they are not going to do the test. And now, Obama and others are viral on the social media, showing photos. I said, okay, that's their wish, that's what they want. They want to add another feather onto their popularity, maybe, with all due respect to them. So that's how it started unfolding. We talked, and then after GS called me again, I spoke to the chairman of the medical committee, who's in touch with the medical staff on the ground. The same thing were manifested, that they refuse to hand over their purportedly negative test result of COVID-19 to the health official. Which country, who dares travel any part of this world and refuse to do that? Where? I've been traveling recently during this COVID period. You don't even think about it. I've been worried whether they will even accept it, whether they will not say it's late or it's forged. Because they have the power. So then that's how it all started. And then later in the day, later in the morning, I understand, I got a call again. I think their minister came in and the ambassador to appeal to the public health officers now, let them allow the boys to allow them to go to the hotel in the morning, they will do the test. Fine, that's between them. But I don't know, even if they will not test, that's not in my business. If the public health officials will grant that respect and honor to the minister in his person and ambassador, then fine. That's very well in line with protocols and good neighborliness or good bilateral relationship. We didn't have any hand in that. And they went to the hotel. And then to yet another surprise, that in the morning when the test team mobilized to the hotel, they refused. They said no, they are not going to do the test because they had a 48 hours, a valid test result that they could use for the match and other things. So there's dishonesty in that. Why would the minister fool the public health officer, promised that they were going to do the test at the hotel, and in the end, then renegated? Why would my colleague also, with all due respect to my very good friend, Per Alain, deceive me, assuring me that they were going to comply at the airport, only to renegade on it? If I had known that he wouldn't do it, maybe something would have happened. But that's the reality. And we all know about what the rest. When they come for the March Committee coordination meeting here, the March Commissioner gave his version of the story. They were here. Later, CAF intervened and organized a video conference between both parties, including some officers of CAF, including the General Secretary and his deputy, and the Director of Competition, and the Technical Director. And then the March belongs to CAF. They laid down the rules. They said then we have the March to go on. Because their first instinct, first impression was, I believe they were carried about by the social media, other international tabloids and media reporting about the whole issue. And there's a match to go on. There. Someone said, no, let's play, let us not play. I said, why? We have to play. If we did not play, we're going to lose. We're going to take the points and give it to them. That's what happened. And we cannot do anything about it. The risks are there, very high risk. The coach was very paranoid, he was very confused, because these are players you don't own. You have to convince their clubs that you're going to put A, B, C, D in place. The clubs read the regulations, our own, the protocols they know about FIFA's, CAF's, and our own. And that convinced them to let their players on. Out of the... Some did not. And some did not. Some even refused to release them. And they would say, oh, alhamdulillah, we thought about it. Just imagine what's going in to the minds of Suleiman Mar's club today, one of our key players. Even the third test that he did on Saturday, the result would have been out the next day than anywhere in the world. But it was tactically delayed until Monday. because they knew that we may have the capacity of flying him in to play the match. That's the reality. That's the reality. So where is the sportsmanship spirit? I'll come into Suleiman's case later. So this is how the match was played. We did our best, and then the result is known to everybody. But what I can assure you is that the Gambia Football Federation has no intention, and we don't have any hand in the process. And unfortunately, with all due respect to my dear friend Pierre Allen, the president of the Japanese Football Federation, General Lanto Montamba owes him a million apologies. He owes General Lanto Montamba a million apologies. The man was at the time enjoying the middle of his bed. He didn't even know what was going on at that time. The only people at that time communicated was myself and him and the chairman of a medical committee, Omar C, and those on the ground. I was not even talking to them. Only Pierre was on the ground. Pierre, it's only the protocol officer was on the ground. Why? If I had known and clearly that my colleague president will be arriving here, that's normal. I would have been at the airport to receive him. That's normal. But we are lost in the arrival time. You don't even know when they are coming. I cannot just go and start. So then that's the problem. Otherwise, senior members of the Secretariat would have been there. If we had known that the minister, a whole minister of Youth Sports, coming, travel in the country, not being received by his colleague, not being received by any senior officer of the Federation, then there are more to it than what they are saying. That's deceitful and unfortunately very dishonest on the side of our friends. General Tamba was nowhere around the airport. If they had any evidence to show that, because they are taking photographs, the way they are posting the photographs on the social media, let them post the face of General Tamba. The whole world will see it. And I call on my friend to apologize to General Tamba. It's all out of frustration and desire to fabricate and cook a story, and that won't work. If it were not the action of calling a press conference and piling up certain non-facts together, we would have just issued a short press release to inform the Gambians of what happened. We wouldn't have gone into details. But if you have seen what happened in there, when it comes to, I don't want to elaborate more on what we went through in Gabon. Gambians, we are used to that. We have a thick skin. Anytime we go and play, we say, no, this one we don't. And then we forget. When they come, we open hands to them. I wish you see the field that our team trains in Angola, in Luanda, the two times we went there. It's not better than Serekunda West or Serekunda or even Kakamboy. It's not better than, but we took it. We even tried at one point even to hire a private team field, so that the boys can have a good training field. But nobody heard from them. And when they come here, we receive them with open hands. They are friends. Football is meant for that, but not with hostility. In addition to subjecting our players and delegation to 2 tests before the match, a lot of inconvenience ensued. And one thing I want to correct, it was in his press conference he said they had chartered a plane to take us from Libreville to Franceville. But we had informed them as early as the 7th of November that we are coming with our own chartered flight, and then we'll use the same flight to Franceville. Can we make arrangements for the flight to land in Franceville and also to depart from Franceville to Banjul? Because we are aware that the Franceville airport closes around 11 p.m. whatever. And the coach wants that after the match they get ready, they come to Banjul. Perfect. The emails are here. And all these emails are copied to CAF. I'm sure they will be very useful for the investigation panel. On the 12th, that was 5 days before the match. Now he's saying that we don't inform them that at all. Very dishonest.
It's on the 7th.
On the 7th, before the match. You had given them ample time. But for them, they did not even have the courtesy of telling us we don't need your boss. Yeah. Until they came, they made their own arrangements. We are better. Even if we had informed them that very day, fine. I think it's still better. We show respect to them. But if you're saying that they didn't tell us, that's not true. In fact, the emails are around, and everything is here. Because these are emails that I ensure that every week we communicate with them. Because we had a rough start with them. First, the issue of the visas. We had to follow, we ended up by writing to CAF. When the email to CAF dropped, barely 30 minutes, they send the approval for the visas. Barely 30 minutes. Why we will follow them? Because otherwise, our players will have a problem even to start moving, because they are assembled at Brussels. So even from their point of departure first, they will need these visas. And for them also to send us their list so that we can prepare the visa on arrival. We had to literally beg them about 3 emails with a series of WhatsApp messages that the General Secretary, no response, just to avoid being found wanting. Because at the end of the day, when they want to come and we don't have the visas, we are not ready to say Gambia denied us visa. Especially what we learn, we experience from them now. All the records are there. We had to literally report them to CAF to ensure that they send us their list and the passport copies to enable us to prepare visa on arrival for them. The facts are there. The issue of the flight, our charter flight to have landing right in Gabon was another nightmare. This was arranged by a privately owned company, and I'm sure the investigators will reach out to them to find out what happened. In fact, there was a time it was a point of desperation. There was no response. I relied on my relations with my friend, my colleague. I communicated with him. I said, okay, I'll get back to you, I'll get back to you. When they got that landing right, it did not include Franceville. We had to struggle to get that. They got that at the last hour. In fact, the departure at the airport was even delayed because the landing right was not handy at the time. It has to be delayed for some time. Now we anticipated that. Departure from Franceville, because Franceville normally they said is not for international departures. But because of the relationship, because of the urgency, they can have a waiver. And we were assured that they were going to give waiver. That was the time I was talking to Michael, said, no, c'est regular. You will have a problem. There was no problem, it's okay. But the guys who were chartering the flight, the agency, were on my neck. Mr. President, we have a problem. Because it didn't happen, not only it's going to disrupt our operations, but there are very heavy financial implications for us. And we don't want to share that burden with you, on you, because it's a responsibility. And then we went. They said, okay, it will be fine. You will fly. What time do you want to fly out? They were given the time to fly out from Libreville after the match. Was it 1 a.m. or 1:30? I can't remember actually. 1:30. The match was played with the assurance that they're going to fly out. Everybody from Franceville to Banjul. Immediately after the match, quick dinner, freshen up to the airport. Only to arrive at the airport was closed. Closed. They said, oh, the people there, they are not working, they've gone home. Just imagine for us. If we had not had a good plan, we would have been in disaster. But because of the efficiency of the company that we use to do the arrangement for the hotel, they were able to get back to the hotel, spend the night. And then, I think the first departure schedule was 2 p.m. or 12 from Banjul, something like from Franceville to Banjul. That was changed more than 3 times because of their behest, because of them. The team could not depart until about 5 or something like p.m. instead of 2, 12, 2, 4, whatever. They delayed that, it was delayed until that. So, but we didn't make any noise out of that. Because these are things, sometimes when you talk about it, people think that you are looking for faults and you want to complain. We don't want, because these are things where we feel really shouldn't happen. But notwithstanding, it's not going to kill us. So when all those things happen, they came here without even confirming their arrival time to us. They just sneak into our country. I will use that word, sneak in. This poor gentleman was at the airport, he doesn't know what was happening. We had to rely on the control tower. Where is the spirit of sportsmen? Where is it? Where is the genuine? What were they trying to achieve? You arrive at the airport also, you refuse to surrender your COVID test report to the competent authority. We have the mandate to quarantine you wherever he wants. He can even quarantine you at the airport. So them sleeping on the floors here and there, it's their own doing. They wanted it. Nobody forced them to do so. If they had complied, they wouldn't have been there. And nobody kidnapped anybody. That's a different thing. If anything, they are unruly. You've seen that they had fracasses with the security and immigration personnel, some of them in pouring water on them. And nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about that. We've seen the videos, what they were doing. Sleeping on the floor, fine. Maybe sometimes the tile is very cool, maybe you enjoy it. But it's not a problem. We don't wish that for them, but it's not our doing. It's not our own doing. Let's come to the other dishonest statement about Suleiman Mar. Suleiman is our player. That's not their business. He's not a player. If I tell you how many calls I received my colleague about Suleiman, he was more concerned about Suleiman than his own players. Your boys at the hotel want him to cry. When I called Suleiman, I said, Uncle, Mama Fem wanted it. Nobody told me anything. I'm here, I'm fine. The hotel didn't tell team managers here. You talked to him. Even the day the team landed, you were in the same car, yourself and Coach. I talked to you and Coach talked to him. He said, no, as far as I'm concerned, there's no imminent eviction. No. The hotel wanted him out because they said, where is he going? Where would he go? So I see the handy hand beneath. All of a sudden we receive an email from CAF asking us about Suleiman Mari. We replied, and up to there's nothing from CAF about it. If you should be concerned about Suleiman, we are more concerned about Suleiman. Not only that, he would have made a difference if he were on the pitch that day. I think we all agree with that. But he's our own. We don't want him to be there. There's not a day that I will not talk to Suleiman, except the day of the match itself. Every day I will talk to him, every day the team manager will talk to him, everybody will talk to him. As far as we are concerned, the situation he is not desirable. He didn't want it. We don't want it, but we have less to do about it. They reported to us. And then what we did, when we realized they are the ones trying to push the hotel to send him out, we make arrangement. It's also lying that they make arrangements for Suleiman to be moved to another hotel. That's not true. It's Max Sport that arranged a Portugal campaign. We outsource the arrangement for hotels in both in Libreville and Franceville. They are the one I have the text message from Yusuf. After confirming with coach and then the team manager, he consulted me. We are partners. I said we got another hotel for Suleiman where he will not be hassled. He can stay there as long as possible. Do you approve it? I said, why? I approve. I have all those. I said, fine, go ahead. Suleiman was moved. We made arrangements with the Gambian community in Libreville also, who they would not only, I think, had only one opportunity for them to allow. They made so that they would not allow anybody to come and visit them. They did that. But if at all, for example, one reason and a technical reason that we didn't have anybody there, that's also, they calculated it. The executive committee member, Mr. Numukunda Kanyi, was designated and he agreed to stay over with him. It was arranged with the Gabonese that upon their return from Franceville to Libreville, they lift him to Libreville so they can join. The last minute they said, no, they are not going, they will technicalities. And knowing them at that point in time, you can also leave that old man also in a no man's land because you don't know what they're going to do. It was just about when they were going to the airport. Then we came in. We have a team manager. But we know the value and use of everyone. We know the importance of the man. We know the arrangements here. It's left for us now to decide who and when to. Expecting that when Suleiman would do the third test on Saturday, he'll be free and he can fly in. We had already booked and everything was done for him. He did it on Saturday. The result never came on Sunday. It came late Monday. They said again positive. Can you trust them? But what I can tell you, Suleiman is well and good. I know the situation is not the least desirable. We abhor it. We wish it didn't happen. But because of that, this attitude and behavior, we suspect foul play. Definitely, we suspect foul play in the whole process. Since they cannot trust our own medical people to ascertain their test results, how would we accept their test result when it comes to Suleiman? When they refused to do the test at the hotel here, and followed the decision of CAF, it was at that time they handed over their test result to Omar C, chairman of our medical committee. The match went on. In fact, it was useless. It has no use. It has no use because with or without, the match will have a played. Whether they're purported, whether they're fake, whatever, we don't know. But we, with goodwill, when we hope and believe that all of us who have interacted with them or through third parties, that we are all safe. But this only were in the 48 matches that were played over this period, that match was played without a particular team undergoing a test in the country. Nigeria went to Sierra Leone, despite they saw this, they were tested at the airport. Madagascar, the country of the CAF president, in Cote d'Ivoire it happened. Mali recently, Mali in Namibia, initially they refused, but when the test was conducted, they got 8 cases. How many of Gabonese can we guarantee are not carrying the COVID, the virus? How many of us can guarantee that? But may Allah save us all and save our young players and the officials. Ladies and gentlemen, in a nutshell, I think this is what I have to. And then, really, it will be a big amiss if I did not also extend special thanks to the government of President Adama Barrow, through the Minister Bakar Baji, his permanent secretary, deputy permanent secretary, and the National Sports Council for all the support that were rendered from the preparations to the match. And this includes the training camp that was held in Portugal, both financial, logistical, and moral support, and their solidarity with us at this very trying moment. And I can assure you that we will also not relent in our efforts to ensure that we achieve our long years of dream of seeing our country to its maiden AFCON finals. This is a challenge for us as a country, and we need everybody's hands on deck. Not only hands, but hearts and minds. This is Gambia. It's Gambia we have. We can have divergence of views here and there, which is natural, which is very constructive, it's helpful, but let us have the same objective. We have nothing to hide, and then we are looking forward to the investigation to start so that we can put the facts on the table. And I'm sure the ladies and gentlemen on that committee are people of integrity and people of great competence, that they will do justice to the process. I thank you all.